So that is another WWDC wrapped up in the books, and I have just been on the craziest travel schedule from Taipei to Vegas to here, 2.5 weeks with this. It is the Grams 28 pack, and considering how far I've traveled, I've kept it pretty minimal. I actually took this into all my briefings, had it in Apple Park, which is pretty cool. Obviously this year we saw a lot of software updates, Apple Intelligence, their first look at AI, and of course iOS, iPadOS, Mac OS, Sequoia. But this is the end of the road for me. Let's head back to the studio. We'll do a quick transition. I wish I could get home as fast as a finger snap. Okay, that teleportation was legit. So like I said, this is the pack. We're gonna get to this in a second. I have this little goodie bag that I got from WWDC. Just wanted to share it. You can see here, I got this from Apple. Nice little memorabilia, I think. Inside of the tote, water bottle. Not too sure what this is. Pin pack. And I bought myself a t-shirt. So this technically, or that store at Cupertino at Apple HQ is the only place you can buy Apple merch. So I bought this t-shirt here. You can actually see it. I could honestly put it on maybe. It is pretty simple. So it's got the Apple logo. This is technically on the back, and it's got a small little Mac logo on the front. Boom. And yeah, I snagged it in an XL. So these things were selling like absolute hotcakes just because it's the only place you can get them. Like I said, a little water bottle, which has WWDC, and of course the date. Curious what this is. They said it was like a picnic blanket. Interesting. So it's essentially just this large tarp, which I could use as like a cape or, like they said, for a picnic. Maybe I'll use it this summer. And a pack of pins, which I took a little sneak peek at. I always kind of collect these. These are kind of cool. So you can see this one, for example, Apple Park, 40 years of Mac, which is pretty dope, and a little Vision Pro pin. So Vision Pros are now coming to Canada, a couple other countries as well as of July 12th. So I will get my like official hands-on. I've tested it out before, but I guess I can now add a pin to the collection. These are pretty cool. So to this pack, which I mentioned I've been hauling around with me for the past 2 weeks. So it's from Grams 28. I have a ton of their leather accessories. I'm a big fan of their stuff just because it's a very like premium leather. I like leather accessories versus say like canvas or like plastic, just because they're easier to clean. When you travel, they pick up a lot of gunk and you can just kind of wipe them off. And considering I log a lot of miles, I actually just got over 100,000 miles on Air Canada. So I've already reached the highest status, which is crazy because it's only June. Every little bit to help keep the pack clean helps. I won't lie, they're on the pricey end, but if you're looking at like a luxury leather bag, they tend to be more expensive than this. And I love the fact that, like I said, minimal branding. On the back side, this is where I kept like the powerhouse of the trip. This was just my MacBook Pro. This is the 14-inch, which I prefer for traveling. So in Space Black, the M3 Max, it's one of the highest specs that you can get. On the back, I just have a D-brand skin. I just like to keep this on so it doesn't scratch on the back because once again, traveling, you do pick up all sorts of nicks. It's pretty much what I edited my entire trip, and you can see my nasty workflow when I have no time to spare. I just stick everything on the desktop. It's bad, it's terrible. Don't judge me. In the rest of the laptop compartment, so inside it's kind of lined with this nice little felt lining. Once again, nice and soft. I just have a hard drive. So this is the Lexar SSD. It's one of their like tough cases or their armor cases. This is kind of built to survive, once again, for traveling. It's got this like nice rubber exterior. So if you do accidentally drop it, it will still survive. It's a 2 terabyte drive. So all the footage that I got throughout the entire 2 weeks. So I was in Taipei for Computex, then I had an event in Vegas for GE, and then once again flew straight to WWDC in Cupertino. All the footage stored on this. It's 2000 megabits, both read and write, so I can just plug this in straight into my MacBook Pro, work off of a timeline in Final Cut, and keep everything stored on this. So super great. Got mints, if that excites anyone. And last but not least, I usually keep my keys with a pair of like air tags, so in case I lose this bag or I misplace it somewhere, I can always track it. So that's in the laptop compartment. The rest of the bag, once again, pretty minimal. So you have the main component here. So inside, I haven't even unpacked yet. I've got my AirPods Max, which I typically bring around. So these are actually custom color coded from Colorware because they don't make orange ones. I was honestly hoping at WWDC we'd see a hardware announcement. We were just, I guess, like stuck with software. So obviously Vision OS 2, iOS 18, maybe my favorite feature of that, maybe a lot of the Android people will flame me. You can just customize your homepage now to have either like dark mode, light mode, and you can finally change the icon colors and have like none of the branding or none of like the naming. You know, it's a pretty small update, but in terms of visuals, I think it makes like a pretty big difference. There's iPad OS 18, once again, very close and mirrors iOS 18, Mac OS Sequoia. I am rocking the wallpaper in memory. Funnily enough, the biggest cheer throughout the crowd was when the calculator app for iPad got released. I did think Math Notes was pretty dope. It pretty much solves equations when you're using your iPad. It makes math class, I think, redundant. Like, I wish I had that when I was in school. Obviously, they had the introduction of Apple Intelligence, a pretty cool name, their play on AI. I like how it's very like personalized to you, but once I get the betas running, I can give you a bit more of an in-depth review for that. And I wish we saw that hardware update, but sadly that will have to wait. On the inside, I just have the rest of like my tech essentials. So obviously this little mini tripod. I shot a lot of my reels, both in Taipei as well as at Apple Park with this. I had my good old A7CR mounted to the 18mm Batis with a little variable ND filter. Like, this was my main like vlogging rig. So I think that was like the perfect combo. But since I was a bit of a tryhard and I was the only one traveling, I brought my A7S III with the 24-105. This was a bit for some of the tighter shots. So I did travel with 2 cameras this time. It was a bit heavy on the pack, but I made it work. And for the last couple things, once again, like I said, I haven't unpacked yet. Protein bars that I got from Apple Campus, and the DJI little microphone, which I connected when I was vlogging, and of course my sunglasses, which kind of rounded out my pack. So that was pretty much everything filled into that Grams 28 bag. It was a bit on the smaller side for me, but I felt like I could travel with everything for the past 2 weeks. Like I said, it's a nice premium bag, a bit on the pricier end. So if you want to splurge a bit, I think it could be a solid option. I really stand by their like little day packs or their sling packs, which I filled out my channel over the past year. So if any of this stuff is interesting to you, I will leave it listed down below. Let me know what you think about the Apple little swag bag, if my t-shirt that I got was the right one. I can definitely give some of these pins away, so let me know what your fave is. These are technically like collectible. Unless you went to WWDC, you wouldn't get these. I've got a ton of content coming out from the past 2 weeks, so make sure you stay posted, make sure you're subbed. I will probably pick someone from the comments for one of these, so make sure you leave that one comment. Follow me along on social, and I hope you enjoyed my quick little recap for the bag that I brought, and obviously let me know what your favorite update was from WWDC software related. I'll catch the rest of you in one of my next vids. Peace.